Within hours, they were traveling south. The gray towers of Gotham fell behind, and the green sea of the jungle rose to meet them. 3 days later, they reached the remote valley marked in Strange's files. It was a place few creatures visited. High cliffs enclosed the valley on all sides. Ancient trees grew from cracks in black stone. The air felt old. Very old. At the valley's center stood the buried gateway. It towered above the forest floor, half uncovered by excavation trenches. Massive stone wolves were carved into its pillars. Vines draped across symbols that matched those on Mowgli's tablet. Smoke drifted nearby. A camp. Buldeo had arrived first. From a rocky ridge, Mowgli counted a dozen men guarding the site. Buldeo himself stood before the gateway, holding a bundle of papers and arguing with a nervous foreman. "The final key must be here," Buldeo shouted. "Keep digging." Professor Harcourt studied the tablet. The carvings fit together. He pointed to a recess in the center of the gateway. The tablet Mowgli carried appeared to be one piece of a larger mechanism. Batman scanned the camp through binoculars. "Buldeo hasn't opened it yet." Then the ground trembled. Not from digging. From behind the gateway. A deep rumble echoed through the valley. The workers froze. Even Buldeo looked uneasy. Something enormous had moved beneath the earth. The rumble came again. Mowgli's head turned toward the sound at once. The gateway was important, but the jungle had taught him that when the earth growls, wise hunters learn why. "I'll look," he whispered. Leaving Batman, Mother Wolf, and the others on the ridge, Mowgli slipped through the undergrowth toward the rear of the valley. The rumbling came again. "Arrarararmmm." Birds burst from the trees. At the far side of the gateway, Mowgli discovered a narrow crack in the cliff face, hidden behind curtains of vine. Cool air flowed from within. He squeezed through. The passage descended into darkness. Ancient stone steps, worn by countless feet, spiraled downward. At the bottom lay a vast cavern. Mowgli stopped. The cavern was larger than any he had ever seen. In its center stood a colossal stone wolf, carved from a single block of black rock. It towered over the chamber like a guardian of forgotten ages. Its eyes glowed faintly blue. And beneath it, the earth was moving. Not from an animal. Not from a machine. The giant statue itself was slowly awakening. Dust rained from its shoulders as hidden gears and ancient mechanisms groaned to life. Near the statue's base, Mowgli spotted something else. A second stone tablet. It was set into a pedestal, covered with the same symbols as the gateway. Professor Harcourt had been right. The tablet Mowgli carried was only half of the key. Then a voice echoed through the cavern. "I knew someone would come." A figure stepped from the shadows. It was not Buldeo. It was an elderly gray wolf, scarred and thin with age, yet standing proudly. Mowgli had never seen him before. The old wolf studied him carefully. "Man-cub," he said, "why do you seek the city of the first pack?" Before Mowgli could answer, a distant explosion boomed above. Buldeo had begun blasting the gateway. The stone wolf's glowing eyes brightened. The ancient guardian was waking faster. Mowgli stepped toward the ancient wolf without fear. "Buldeo is blasting the gateway," he said. "The stone guardian is waking. How do I stop it?" The old wolf's yellow eyes narrowed. For a moment, he seemed to weigh Mowgli as Akela once weighed the young wolves of the pack. Then he nodded. "You ask the right question." Another explosion shook the cavern. Dust drifted from the ceiling. The colossal stone wolf's glowing eyes brightened further. "Arrarararmmm." Ancient gears turned deep within the earth. "The guardian was not built to attack the jungle," said the old wolf. "It was built to defend the city of the first pack." He pointed to the two tablets, the one Mowgli carried and the one set into the pedestal. Together they form the law key. "The law?" asked Mowgli. "The oldest law." The old wolf recited words carved into the pedestal. The strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. The same truth Baloo had taught Mowgli long ago. The guardian obeys that law, the old wolf continued. It cannot be commanded by greed or force, only by one who acts for the pack rather than himself. A third explosion thundered above. The stone wolf began to rise from its resting place. One massive paw shifted. The cavern floor trembled. "There is little time," said the old wolf. "Place the 2 tablets together before the guardian fully wakes, then speak the law." Suddenly, a harsh voice echoed down the stairway. "There he is." Buldio's men had found the hidden passage. Lantern light flickered among the rocks. They were descending toward the cavern. The old wolf backed into the shadows. "Choose quickly, man-cub." Mowgli shook his head. "If the guardian wakes wild, there may be no pack left to protect." He thrust the tablet into the old wolf's paws. "Prepare the ritual. I'll hold them." The old wolf gave a solemn nod and turned toward the pedestal. Mowgli sprang onto a ledge, overlooking the stairway just as Buldio's men entered the cavern. Lanterns bobbed in the darkness. Rifles gleamed. Then one hunter looked up. The boy. Too late. Mowgli kicked loose a cluster of stones. They crashed onto the steps, scattering the front ranks. Gray Brother burst from a side tunnel with a fierce bark, snapping at boots and sending more men stumbling. Behind them, the old wolf fitted the 2 tablets together. The pieces locked with a deep ****. Blue light spread across the carvings. But Buldio himself now appeared at the top of the stairs. He saw the glowing tablets. He saw the awakening stone wolf. And he smiled. At last. Ignoring the danger, Buldio charged downward. The giant guardian rose higher. One glowing eye fixed upon the intruders. Ancient machinery groaned. The cavern shook. At that moment, Batman dropped from an opening high above, cape billowing through the dust. Mother Wolf and the Black Panther followed close behind. The battle for the cavern had begun. Meanwhile, the old wolf placed the joined tablets into a slot at the base of the guardian. Symbols blazed across the chamber walls. Only one thing remained. Someone had to speak the law. The guardian's head turned slowly toward Mowgli. Waiting. Listening. Mowgli looked from the old wolf to Mother Wolf, Gray Brother, Batman, Professor Harcourt, and even the Black Panther standing silent in the shadows. The law was not for one wolf alone. It was for the pack. Together, Mowgli shouted. The cavern shook as Buldio and his men scrambled toward the guardian. The old wolf raised his head. Mother Wolf stepped beside Mowgli. Gray Brother stood proudly at his flank. Batman, though no wolf, took his place among them. Then their voices rang through the ancient chamber. The strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. The words echoed from wall to wall. Again they spoke them. Louder. Stronger. The strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. The joined tablets flared with brilliant blue light. The giant stone wolf stopped moving. Silence fell. Then the guardian lowered its massive head. Not to Buldio. Not to the hunters. To Mowgli and those who stood with him. The cavern walls came alive with glowing symbols. Hidden doors slid open throughout the chamber, revealing the forgotten city of the first pack beyond, a vast underground sanctuary carved long ago by a people who had lived in harmony with the jungle. Buldio stared in amazement. It's mine, he cried. He rushed forward. The guardian's eyes flashed. With a single thunderous step, it blocked his path. Not attacking. Simply refusing passage. Buldio tried to force his way around it. The stone wolf let out a mighty roar. The sound echoed through the valley above. The hunters fled in terror. Buldio stumbled backward and was promptly seized by Gotham officers, who had followed Batman's trail into the valley. The threat was ended. As calm returned, the old wolf approached Mowgli. The city of the first pack has chosen its friends. He looked at Batman and the others. Its gates will remain open to those who honor the law. Sunlight began to stream through cracks high above as a new day dawned over the jungle. The adventure had led from Siuni to Gotham and back again. And now Mowgli stood before a newly discovered city whose secrets had been hidden for centuries. The end, or the beginning of a new tale.